Welcome back, everyone. In this episode today, Lexie and I from Be Seen Socials actually break down a social strategy in terms of being able to grow and explode your brand on TikTok, the types of content strategies you should use, how to actually avoid not getting overwhelmed when you're actually posting for your e-commerce brand and even just your personal brand as well. We also go into founder-led content and how that can be a real driving mechanism to be able to explode your business. This is an interesting, value-packed, jam-packed episode with so much golden wisdom. Listen through to the end and enjoy. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, thanks firstly for having me. I'm very excited. You've hopped across the pond to chat today.
Yes.
So I am the founder of Be Seen Socials. So we are a content creation social media agency. Everything organic, which means everything that Instagram, TikTok will allow you to do for free. So that's all the content creation stuff, as well as then we have a influencer section of the business as well. And we're just around the corner. So we're based in Alexandria, which I feel like is like the business hub randomly of Sydney.
It seems like it.
It seems that way.
Every time I come to Sydney, I'm always just like, especially from the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast is like so much smaller. You come down here and it's like a village compared to there's so much going on
Sydney because I'm a Brisbane girl.
Oh, right. Okay.
Actually, Noosa.
Noosa's amazing.
Yeah, so
love Noosa.
So moved to Sydney, and I feel like I'll just never go back.
Yeah,
there's like stuff going on.
So much happening.
Yeah. Not to say Gold Coast is not. My sister.
Gold Coast is actually the fastest growing city in Australia at the moment.
Okay, I can believe that.
And they also have the most founders per capita.
Really?
Than any other city.
You would know that fact.
It's just the concentration.
Right.
There's like less people there, but then there's like a lot of like.
It must be just an inspiring nature.
I think it's
something in the water.
Maybe it's the water. Maybe it's the beach.
Maybe.
I don't know. Cool. So, how did you start the company? Be Seen. So, like, is this something that you always were interested in getting involved or being around, or how did you get into it?
No. So, well, I guess I'll start kind of from the beginning. So I started Be Seen at 21.
Okay.
And so that was right at like the early stages of kind of content creation, social media management being like a business. Because obviously when I was 21, it wasn't something that I necessarily saw as a career. It was just something I enjoyed doing. So taking it a little bit back, I have a marketing commerce degree. So I dabbled into it a little bit, but you know how in like at uni for me, it just like wasn't, I went to UQ, which is kind of old school. Right. And so I think we did one subject about social media, maybe.
Got it.
But so when I finished that, I went to go and work for a company in LA, which is a programmatic marketing company. And at the time, they were actually going through like funding rounds. And so what we decided to do was offer social media management for some of their clients. And that was what I was in charge of. So it was very much one of the only ways they were making money for the startup. And so I really started becoming, I guess, useful to them by creating content for their clients, scheduling posts, getting influencers involved in the brand. And then I came home from the internship for my 21st birthday, got a full-time offer to go back over there. And when I was going to go to the consulate, because you need to get a visa,
yeah, of course.
The consulate shut for COVID. So I guess that's where that kind of hindered the process. And
so if COVID didn't happen, you think you would?
I honestly think I would have.
Wow.
I wonder. I think everything happens for a reason, but truthfully, I think I might have been there. Might have been an LA girl.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and working in a career as opposed to like owning your own agency as well.
I think so, because I was never really going to start something on my own. But then what happened was that I needed to set up an ABN to go and contract out to that business because I'm Australian.
I see.
And then it was kind of like a light bulb moment where I figured if I'm doing it for one business, I can do it for others. And then I started taking on clients and friends. And my first ever brand was a friend of mine. Her dad had an alcohol brand, and he was distributing to BWS, Dan Murphy's, and then he was like, we should try an e-com strategy. And so I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I started, setting up the Instagram, taking the photos, sending the product to influencers. And that was when I kind of practiced my processes and then moved to Sydney to start it.
Have you always had an interest in content overall, or what was?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just. It's. So
I was
cool.
actually a full-time influencer before.
There we go.
There we go.
Right,
There it is. No, so I was a full-time. I did influencing all from year 12 was when I first started it.
Right.
So year 12 was when I was taking photos of my outfits and going down to the beach and doing the whole like bikini thing and taking photos of, I'm pretty sure I was like the OG, you know, like the skinny me tea vibe.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that
Wow,
phase?
yeah.
So, and like the Frank body scrubs,
Yes,
that was like,
yes.
I was like,
All over
that was all over that. I was all over it. So that was very much my beginnings into the content creation, which I don't know how I missed that part of that story. Yeah, so started with the influencer scene, which was so much fun. Like, I can't even tell you how much fun that was. I went to, you know, Fiji with like a brand. I traveled to LA the first time and went to like Coachella with Revolve. I was doing so many cool things, and it was such a fun job. But I always kind of knew that it wasn't 100% for me. Like, it wasn't going to be my career. And I always kept, you know, up with the degree and kept going, always having like a little bit of a side job on top of the influencer thing, or a degree like being at uni. And so then that's like really kind of built the scaffolding of the business, which is so funny because my mum and dad were really against me posting my face online. In year 11, 12, it was just not on. Like, posting online, posting my face, especially their friends would like send them photos that they saw of me and be like, oh, Lexie's posting herself on the internet.
Yeah, of course.
And they would like come and pick me up from parties and like take my phone off me and like make me delete everything, which is so ironic now because dad's my CFO.
Wow.
So now it's like, wow, he loves it now.
Isn't that great?
But I'm kind of a step back from the influencer thing now. And I've really kind of channeled all my energy into the scene. And it's just been like such a whirlwind, growing pains for sure. So it's been 5 years now. So we turned 5 years beginning of March.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
a business that almost didn't make it, or almost wasn't even started. Like, it wasn't even a thing. Almost by accident.
But I think that's some of the best, is like kind of just like seeing, I guess, like a problem. One of the big problems I saw was that brands, when I was only 21, so I kind of at first I didn't see it as a big problem. It's grown into a bigger problem that we're solving. Is that when you're going and working with influencers or content creators, what you're doing is you're going and finding these creators and you're sending off product to them in return for one piece of content. And when you get it off, they're sending that product all the way out to that person's home. They're not there controlling the content. They're getting something back that most of the time is okay. But what we've created is an in-house UGC solution, which is where clients send us the product to the office. We get on a meeting with them. You very rarely can get on a meeting with a content creator.
Very true.
And so now we get on a meeting with we're the content creators. We get on the meeting and we design what the client needs. So we go, and I've done this with a few of your Ecom Capital clients.
I think Melissa, I think she's with her backpack. She's loving working with you guys.
So that's exactly, we have a shoot on Monday.
Amazing.
So Melissa's a really good example.
She's so good,
Yeah, so we're going to jump on a meeting. We jumped on a meeting with her. We understood exactly what kind of content she needs. So is it targeted for ads? Is it targeted for UGC organic? Do you care more about stills? What type of styling do you want? So she wants city because she wants it to look corporate, busy and corporate and and look like there's a lot going on. And then she also wants talking to camera stuff, which is kind of like really great for ad, and that will convert for what she needs on ad. And so then after that, we get 2 products sent to the office, just 2. And then in return for that, she's going to have 20 plus pieces of high quality content that she then gets a round of edits on. Which is also something you very rarely get to do with influencers and like content creators, because they'll be like, that's what you've got.
Here's
like,
your content.
Best of luck.
And
then you've also lost that product because you're very rarely getting that back.
No, absolutely.
So that's kind of our like UGC in-house solution.
Very, very, very powerful in terms of like it's almost like you're maximizing as much as possible from the product. It's like you might send Melissa's example, like what she might sell for $500. She sends out to one person, they send one piece of content back, and it's like, wow, that was expensive. As opposed to like send the product to you guys, and it's like all of these different resources, and then send it back. Jesus.
Most of the time, like truthfully.
Unless you really like the product and you're like,
I like sometimes when we do like bikinis and like stuff like that, where it's like, well, we're probably gonna keep this.
Of course.
We just did an activewear one, and I was like obsessed with the stuff. I was like, oh my god, I love this.
Sorry, got lost in the mail.
Actually, I think it was another ecom client.
Oh right.
Northwear.
Oh yeah, Amy.
Amy,
they're amazing. Awesome brand.
So her stuff's unreal.
It is. So I love her products. They're really,
so
really
we were
cool.
like, we're gonna keep this.
I
actually have the top in my I'm taking it to Pilates.
I actually have it under this right now.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing it. But yeah, I love her stuff too.
Why is content so important? Like, in case people, for example, like, and I'm actually kind of like asking this question somewhat myself, and the reason I'm asking this is because, so I'm 2 years ago, I kind of had this situation where I was like building my business, and I was like posting a lot, you know, more so like personal brand style content, which is similar, right? I was trying to still build a personal brand. And what I was doing is I was like pushing a lot of content out, talking about all of the things that I'm interested in, getting a lot of engagement messages, all these cool things. At the same time, I was kind of like, I would say ignoring some of the business problems that I had in my business. And so what was happening was I was like, oh wow, this is like really cool, and like people are like engaging with me. I'm getting all of this like fun feedback about how good I am.
Was there a call to action with like all of the stuff, like your personal stuff that you were doing? Was it like for a purpose, or was it just because you were enjoying it?
Correct. It was just more so because I was enjoying it.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then my business is like suffering, and I was like, wow, this is like really bad. And so I actually just like stopped all content completely, and I was just like, how about you just fix your business problems?
Yeah.
And so I started doing that. You know? So
as in you stood away from doing like the content side. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, entirely. Because I was like, done with it. Right now it's a distraction.
Can I admit something then? If you're like kind of saying that, I'm a little bit on the same page right now, which is like, I kind of, and that's why sometimes like for you and I and people that own businesses, once you do get to a level, you need to delegate in order to keep that up, because content it will literally suck your soul.
Yeah.
And
thank you for that.
And I think
thank you for making me feel like
no, I mean, I used to do video content all the time where I would talk about like business advice and things like that. It's been a year since I've had time to do one.
Right.
So I'm like as guilty as you are in terms of like, okay, you had so much time to like film all this stuff and it was enjoyable, but then your time went into that and not into the actual running of a company. Correct. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So just from the content perspective, like maybe from a brand, like why should people care so much for the content they produce? Like, why is it so important for a brand?
I mean, in simple terms, right? If you're a direct to consumer brand, one of the only, if not best ways of marketing now is through social media. Of course, there's other traditional platforms that you can go to, but the reason why brands and e-com companies are so successful, and why obviously platforms like e-com capital are really useful, and like why having brands like companies like mine are so are thriving right now, is because there is no barrier to entry when it comes to marketing on social media. You need a phone and a product. That's really the limitations you have. What you do with that is a whole nother thing. But when you have the opportunities that we do have with social media, it is really a needle moving position to be in when a piece of content can go viral just from uploading it. And I have seen time and time again things go completely viral just from organic social media content. And that's why sometimes like I do, when I am coaching e-com capital clients, I really dig deep into like something that they can do in a series perspective rather than just like one piece of content here, one piece of content there. Because I think content can truly make a product and a brand take off so much more than the physical product itself. Think about like, and there's so many, maybe I'm just a girl just on this topic. That's fine. Maybe you can feel the same. But there are brands that I invest in now because of their social media content strategy rather than what the actual functionality of that brand is. Yeah, wow. There is an amazing brand, a jewelry company in the Gold Coast called Sandre. Have you heard of it?
I haven't, no.
So I feel like that brand is like moving the needle a lot in terms of like the content creation side, right? And there's other jewelry brands and other brands that are taking this content side of their business the most seriously. Like product development, all of those things are important, but they're taking the content side and actually being an entertainment source to their customers, which is then leading into that ongoing sales. And like Sandre, for instance, I'm biased because my sister runs that account, but I will say that like their content makes you need that product. When I see their aesthetic, where, you know, there's one clever campaign they did where they put like all of the products like on like toast, and it was like she was cooking breakfast. Oh wow. If you can like somehow like bring that up for like some kind of
we'll put it up on the screen.
Yes, this girl's like got jewelry and she pours it as if it's cereal and then puts milk on it, and like it's jewelry at the
Pattern
end of the day. But, oh my God, I wanted all of it because I was like, pop off, this looks unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's kind of like why content I think is so important, just to kind of get back to the original question, is that there is so much to say. You have to have a good product. That is no brainer.
It's like you don't even go to market if you have a bad product.
Yeah.
This is just assuming the basics of business.
Exactly.
Have a good fucking product. Yeah.
And arguably, like, you will get that first sale if your product is okay.
Correct.
And if it's good. But the people that will keep coming back for your brand can be deciphered by, you know, how engaging and educational and aspirational your social content is. Because I think with paid ads, you definitely need to kind of, you know, like you have those hooks, you have that kind of like bite to the content.
Direct response.
Yeah, but then it's the organic side that people go and follow you for and actually like want to follow your brand and want to see what your brand has to say and follow for new product and their second product, third product, fourth product.
So just to touch on that for a second, how would you delineate, for example, organic content versus like ad content? Like, would you be like, these are the types of content we post organic, these are the, you know what I mean? Like, is there any key kind of like different archetypes?
So you're actually the third person to ask me that today. I did just do my coaching call at 11. And then we did like obviously the difference between
unique question.
I know. I'm like, wow, boring. I'm kidding. So I think with the difference between paid and organic, I mean, there's a simple answer. One is to sell and one is to tell. And I think when it comes to paid, that is where you do have that few seconds to kind of get that person engaged and purchase, and you kind of want that sell.
So it's probably like a harder, stronger approach really in the ad.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, it goes back to kind of like the basics of the hooks and all of that type of thing, which is important. Organic strategy is where you can like really, I think personally, it's where the brands actually begin. It's why people really come back for more and go to your account and go to your social account, not to just be a customer, but to be a consumer as well. Because people buy stories, they really do. And I feel like product is good and it will fill a gap, and that's really great. But then coming back for more and more and having like an area of, or a part of the internet that like serves a purpose for you and like shows you more and kind of makes you feel intrigued about
it's like
things.
You found your community almost as well. I'm hanging out with people, I'm seeing things that I feel comfortable in.
There's amazing brands right now that are doing such a good job with like everything in terms of like actually making their account so much more than just selling something. Obviously there's the basics of like Hailey Bieber's Rode.
Of course,
she's got a huge marketing team, and the amount of times clients come to me being like, I want Rode, and I'm like, great,
congratulations.
Okay, let me just go get Hailey like on the phone and we'll just like hit her up.
Blank check, please.
Yeah, literally. But there are huge takeaways from that though, right? Like, yes, okay, we don't have like $1 million marketing budgets to go do massive pop-ups in New York, but there are parts of that we can take away, which is that people want to see out of home content. People love interview style content right now. So people love going down to Bondi Beach and like interviewing other people and getting their real raw reaction from from people responding to the content or responding to the product. And that also goes hand in hand. That works for paid as well. Yeah. And it's working really well on paid as well.
It is, yeah.
So that's kind of like the determining factors is kind of like when you need to have paid, you do. I think that there's like a misconception of like when you have organic and it does really well, amazing, take that as a compliment, but then have an existing paid strategy. I do think that's important as well. Where we focus on is the organic side. So we do 5 posts a week for a client, for each e-commerce brand. 2 to 3 of those are reels. So that, and then on top of that, we are actually doing the monthly shoot and actually shooting that content ourselves. Because I think that's one of the Be Seen differences, is that our agency, and this genuinely is it's hard to achieve because you need manpower.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very laborious in terms of delivery.
So we need 9, we have a team of 9 women. All of them are content creators kind of outside of their day-to-day.
Got it.
And they just have so much passion and understanding for like the aesthetic of content.
It seems like, from what I've seen with your team, they all seem to be like present really well. They're always really involved, engaging. Yeah.
And so one of the things, I'm actually in the hiring process right now, and it's so funny because I was like saying how like this is like working for Be Seen and hiring for Be Seen is such a unique like thing. It's a very hard hire because
it's not a traditional job post.
Oh my God, no way. So firstly, you need to love social. So I need you to check Instagram and TikTok and all those things, not because you have to, because you want to. When something hectic happens on social, we do not shut up about it in the office. Like it's a big deal. Like when did you hear about how Pepsi bought that, the other brand, what is it called? Poppy? Oh my God, you don't know. See, not hired. There you go. You'll never.
Damn it.
not hired. There we go. Okay, cut. He's a red. No. So pretty much like this, Pepsi bought this huge brand that was very social first, and Alex Earl was one. Do you know Alex Earl?
Yeah.
Was one of the big influencers behind it.
Okay.
Anyway, so it was all over the internet about how it sold and what her percentage in that would be.
Okay.
And so that's a big talk of the office. And then there's things that happen overnight on social that like we cannot wait to get back to the office and talk about as a team. That is one of the things I look for when I'm hiring.
Criteria
the hiring is like, how aware are you of what's going on the internet and all of the trends and things like that? Is that second nature to you? And then of course on top of that is like being able to shoot all types of brands. We have brands that are considered like quite sexy to brands that are like not so sexy, and those need to be catered for. They're paying the same amount, so you need to be able to shoot one thing as equal as you can do the other thing.
So it's very diverse, like
super diverse. Like we're a team of 9 women, but we have brands that cater mostly for men. And things like that, where we have to be clever with the way that we market things. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I guess like it kind of goes like hand in hand. So when we're actually hiring, we need like a really strong content first person, but also you need to have a strategy brain, but then you also need to be really approachable to clients, because these clients are like the bread and butter of this business. So you need to like get up on a Monday morning and be like, hi, how are you? Like, things are going really well. Your report's due next week. We're going to have a discussion about creative. We've seen this trend over the weekend that we think would be great for your next shoot. Like, we're going to get that shot for you probably sooner rather than later, because it's quite reactive. Like the Olympics, everyone's like working a million miles an hour. Social is very reactive. And so we do need an element of reactiveness with the content we're creating.
How do you as the, the founder of the company, like I'm just like thinking about that, like it's like exactly as you mentioned, it's like you could have the best strategy for situations, but then it's also just like that changed shit. You're constantly like waiting to see what happens, boom, react. Waiting to see what happens, boom, react. Is it challenging to operate a business like that? Like, I can imagine it must be very fast paced.
Well, that's the thing. That goes back to my point, really, and like that kind of is a really great way to put it. Is that's why we can't hire people that not keeping up with that isn't. So pretty much like if you're not keeping up with that, just because you genuinely enjoy it, it's impossible to do well in this job. If you don't already know all the sounds and all the trends, because you're already doom scroll, like you need to doom scroll for your own like
prerequisite. Please doom scroll.
For like research. Like we have a thing now where someone will start like singing like a sound on TikTok, and everyone can join in because everyone knows the sound, and like
I would lose that game horribly.
Yeah, exactly. Like we do actually. It's so funny you say that, because like obviously we have to pivot and change, and most clients want us to pivot and change, but then there's other ends of the spectrum where we have really corporate clients that the approval process is quite difficult, so we can't be reactive. It's very
like stay the course.
Yeah, it's like do not deviate from the actual from the brief, like pretty much ever. And like those clients are really successful too. Like they do really well on social. It just means that we can't be trend focused. We have and that's just the reality. We really merge. We're like shapeshifters. Like if you're a brand that it has a quite serious tone of voice, then we have account managers that can really follow suit for that, and then we have ones that are just do whatever, throw things at the wall and see what sticks, and like those are really fun too. I actually like prefer the more corporate style. Oh wow. Yeah, I do.
Is it easier to manage? Like you're always delivering the same thing?
Yeah, I think it's also because like sometimes like because I run a B2B client, which is myself.
Yeah, of course. Your company is
my company, and so like my tone of voice with that is quite fun. But then the girls are throwing up the craziest shit on TikTok. True. I'm like, that is not like, I'm actually not that funny. Like they're so funny. Like the girls are actually so witty and funny that I actually feel like I prefer.
You're the boring one.
I prefer the boring ones because I feel sometimes like the boring one. But yeah.
Got it. What are some key things that maybe like brands can do in relation to content. Like let's say, for example, a brand or a founder's like listening and they're like, okay, got it. Like I'm going to make this, organic thing a serious priority. I'm going to focus on it more. Like what would be a handful of key things that you could be like, okay, start there, do this. Like are there some strategies or some overarching kind of like principles?
I guess like there's definitely not a one size fits all. I think it's very much you have to look at your market and look at your customer and look at the type of content they're consuming already and then kind of fit into that. I think a lot of things as well, you have to think about yourself as a founder, because it goes back to the people, but like people want to hear stories and they buy from people. And I think if I was, starting a business from the ground up, I would look at what makes me, and that cannot be replicated. So for me as a business owner, my marketing strategy, it's not going to be like this forever, because I'm going to have to eventually remove myself from the day-to-day. But one of the key reasons people come to Be Seen is because they know that they're going to get me and an influencer and like someone that's been in the industry for so long. Like you're in the
trenches doing it.
Yes, I'm still involved in that. So if I was starting, and to your question, if I was a brand and I was looking at content and knew I had to do something, my first thing would be writing down what are the things that I can do that my competitors cannot have. And most of the time, it's your story.
So true.
And sometimes
the products are like almost ubiquitous. They're everywhere, whether it's a freaking backpack or something else. It's like, but you as a founder is unique. Yeah.
And I always like to say to clients, like I think sometimes with e-com capital clients as well, what I find, I sometimes call them students. Is that so bad?
Clients, I always call them clients,
I heard someone else say student.
You get a cross on your name.
I know someone else said student, and then I wigged out and I was like, are they students? Because some of the, like most of them are like older than me. I feel weird.
No, they're clients.
They're clients. Okay, that's good to
I just don't like the students, like you're in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be a student.
And I'm not a teacher.
Exactly.
Because if I was a teacher, I'd know more about the structure of the school I was working for.
It's a weird association. You know what I mean?
It's so weird.
Like, I don't
anyway,
like it.
Where was I going? I was saying the clients. Okay, so I think sometimes when you look at obviously all the content, social is the noisiest place in the world. Like I feel overwhelmed and I'm in it as a founder. I can't imagine how, I had a client come on this morning and he was like, I just downloaded Instagram. I'm like, well, we've started somewhere. So that's a good start. But then the noise you must feel from like looking at all the brands and you go on competitors and then you go and do the little tab down and there's more and more and more and more. And you're like, oh my God, why am I bringing out this business? I completely understand and I feel really overwhelmed too. So what I always say is like break it down into 5 businesses you admire and are realistic to what kind of content you can create. Then
so when you say realistic, just for a second, so that means like you mentioned like Rhode skincare, probably unrealistic to model.
Super unrealistic.
Yeah,
however, there are a lot of small businesses that are servicing a very similar need that might have, between like the 10 to 12K and could still in followers still be doing really well with sales, looking at those type of businesses and breaking down what their content pillars would look like. Then going back to the personal side, are there parts of your business that could not be imitated by someone else? And if the answer is you, then you need to use that, because founder stories are so interesting. They're so fascinating. People follow people purely for their story. I have a friend of mine that lives in New York, and I just went to go and see her last month, and we were talking about, and I admire her so much because she's the face of the business and she has scaled the company massively by just constantly being the face of it. It's not always the answer and it doesn't always work, but
So when you say, just to understand, when you say being the face of it, like what does that mean? Like
it means jumping on and talking about your product and being the main salesperson of that.
Mouthpiece.
I know this is difficult because you and I shop at different places, I would say. Like just looking at you, probably shop at different clothing brands than I do. Probably. Not to say you don't, but there's a brand called Odd Muse. You're blank. Yeah. So
cross.
Okay, so there's this girl, Amy, I don't even know how to say her last name. I think it's like Smale. Anyway, so she said something really powerful, which I think rides like quite deeply in my values as well, which is that businesses will always pop up and competitors will always pop up, but the actual difference between yours and theirs is you. Yeah. And I think for me, I love kind of capitalizing on someone's story when they come in as a client, because they might not see it as interesting, but I do.
Yeah,
and we can
very
really
true,
come into
very
that.
true.
Like there's like a mum and a daughter duo. Rare. People love to hear it. Someone started it at 21. That's my sales pitch. Like I came in to this business at 21 as an influencer. So of course I'm going to be good at running social media management clients. And of course I'm going to be good at finding good retaining staff, because
course, yeah.
I was 21.
You're in it. Yeah.
I'm in it.
Yeah.
And so like the story of you cannot be taken and copied by anyone else. So trying to capitalize on that. And back to that Amy girl, she's pretty much like always taking her followers through the start and finish.
So true.
She's a lot in terms of like, she will bring out like, oh, I did this much revenue this month, and she'll kind of go through her reports that her accountants give her.
Yeah.
I think for the everyday person, it's maybe too much of a like in terms of strategy, but jumping on, sharing stories, being consistent with that story. Don't just bring it up once. Making sure that like Monday is founder day. So Monday is where you jump on and you talk about and you post a reel of your day in the life, or talking about your product, or being the face of the business. Tuesday is actually for the product. So a reel or a video or a whatever about the product. Yeah. Then the third will be influencer social proof. So talk, like having someone else talk about the product. Then fourth is going to be education, something that does not sell your product but talks about the industry you're in. So if it's sunscreen, it's 3 signs that you need to go get your skin checked. If it's clothing, it's 3 ways of styling this dress, or like something educational. If it's a makeup brand, it's education around other areas of makeup that isn't just serving just what you're selling. Things like that. And then having like a formula that works and breaking it down that way. And then going back, and then Friday could just be something to do with like a content, like a fun content aspirational post of like the product in a fun like place or whatnot.
And so like listening to that, like it gives me a lot of clarity, because it's like, if you have the plan, you can stick to the plan. Right? It's like, okay, so Monday post this, Tuesday do this. So what if like I'm like listening to this, and this is like I've had this experience, and I know a lot of founders do as well. It's like I'm scared. Like people aren't gonna, look at me and they're gonna. You
looked so sad when you said that.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Bobby.
I'm actually scared.
Yeah.
So like what if I'm like, oh, like I don't feel that confident in front of the camera. I don't really like filming myself. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thought process that some people have. What do you recommend?
Okay, well, there's 2 answers to that. It's one, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
No one's comfortable with that.
Who cares?
But you have to kind of like, if you have an interesting story and you're wanting this to work, people don't like to do things. That's just the reality. But if you can get past that, then you're off to the races in terms of being able to do it.
Yeah.
Second is that you can come up with other ways to do it.
Right.
We have a lot of clients come in and want us to speak about the founder in third person. So we're super close with the team. We kind of run the account, but we involve them as a kind of person, a character. Have you heard of Level Up? In Chemist Warehouse. So the boys don't want to speak to the camera and do founder-led content by themselves. So what we do is we structure the actual content creation part of them being involved as if we're filming them and they're our bosses and stuff like that.
Got it. I see. So it's like you're part of the team almost. I see.
But even as an agency, we can still like, we don't say they're our bosses. We just act that way.
I understand.
And technically they are.
Yeah,
but we kind of jump in as like content like we kind of come in and get them to ask questions. We ask them questions and they give us a response, and that's the video. So it's more controlled. If not, I guess you can always get like a mascot. You can always get someone that will represent the brand and represent. I mean, it will be more expensive if they have to be like on payroll and you have to pay them to do that. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of like other ways of doing that, you can definitely get someone for it.
So there's always a solution, really.
Yeah, of course.
Like you can figure it out. It's not. It's never really acceptable just to sit there and be like, oh well, I'm just not going to post content.
You can also, you don't always have to have that personal element too. You can also have that you can have really successful businesses. Sandray, for instance. instance, like going back to that example, the founder is very rarely in the content. She just doesn't necessarily want to be in it. Does not mean that like the team are in the content, but if you look on their Instagram feed, it's like model being more creative, like the whole like baguette thing.
Okay.
And, like, and then the what was I saying? Like
cereal or
something.
Cereal. Yeah.
So like that stuff's a model, and it's just really cool, creative. Of
course.
You can definitely go down that route too.
Yeah. And what about platforms? Because I feel like it's like there's so many different platforms to use or to post on or to share on. Like each of them have different algorithms, different strategies, different sizings of content. Like it's like, are there particular platforms that you like just focus on this first? You know what I mean? Like, is there some sequencing that you might recommend?
My opinion on this question has changed. Like my answer to that question has changed a lot.
Yeah.
I keep kicking you under the table. I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry. I keep like kicking you. No, so my opinion on that has actually changed recently. Right. So I was on a panel with Showpo, the girl, Jane from Showpo. And my answer prior to that would actually have been, go and perfect one platform and like put all your energy into like one platform that you can do really well. My opinion has now changed because the idea of 300 people seeing a repurposed video on TikTok, whilst it wasn't strategized for TikTok, but being on that platform is 300 people that would not have otherwise seen it. So yes, I think that if you're going to perfect Instagram, speak in Instagram language. If you're going to TikTok, speak in TikTok language. By what that means is that Instagram is kind of how, I don't like say it in kind of like basic terms, but like Instagram is for people that know you. TikTok is for people that don't.
Interesting. That's such a great way to describe it.
Yeah. So Instagram is for people that know who you are. They kind of are back for more. It's almost like your Facebook feed. It's people. It's you're seeing your auntie, you're seeing your mum, you're seeing the kid you went to school with, like that type of thing again. Then TikTok is for people that you are walking down the street.
So it's like almost like that's like the pure, like if you were to think about like acquiring a new audience.
Yeah.
All from TikTok as an example. And then it's like we keep them on Instagram.
Yes. So Instagram is like, for people that just know you and they know the story and they're invested in that. TikTok is for people that don't know you. They actually don't give a shit about you. They don't want to be sold to. They just are coming across. They have just been fed your content.
They're just learning like this is a new person maybe like engage with.
Yeah.
Right.
And so TikTok has the ability to really push that content even further. Like there have been videos of our clients and my even personal content that gets millions and millions of views, and that like and it really takes like one or two viral videos, find that formula that works and rinse and repeat that over and over again, and you have yourself like $1 million business.
Wow.
You didn't hear that here though. I don't want to tell
anyone. And just sign here so everyone
can. Like do not quote me on that, because I'm like everyone's gonna go and like wait for like their $1 million hit, but truthfully it is like a hit. Like you can get a video, like we have clients that like one video will just do so incredibly well and they will run out of stock and so
you mentioned there like the formula or the process. So what you're saying is like essentially once you do get some form of almost like the video style or type that works, you can be like, how can I recreate it?
So just like changing little bits of it, and that's why series really work on TikTok.
Got it.
And also Instagram, because like people kind of come back for like another version of that.
Can you just explain like what is a series?
A series can be like anything. So it could be like if we're doing you've got founder series, that's where like people jump on, but then also for us, we're about to take on a big juice company. And so the series that we designed 3 different series for that. One was a scavenger hunt around Sydney because their stock list is everywhere. Wow. So each week we're going to do like a new scavenger hunt where we go and find new stock lists, and that we're going to have little t-shirts on that have the brand, and we're going to go and finding the brand all over Sydney.
So cool.
Then the another series is where we're going to go to people on Bondi Beach or on in front of like the Harbour Bridge, and we're going to have people blind test the flavor. They're like really cool. They've got like carrot, apple and ginger.
Sure.
Is that a normal one?
Maybe Karen, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then they will like blindfold, we'll get them to try the flavor, and then they'll guess the flavor, and then they'll win like some kind of prize. That's a series.
Right, I see.
And so those are like the kind of things that people come back for more.
I see.
With Level Up, we put it Level Up in like different drinks and like would try it. So we'd try it in like a Macca's Coke, like Macca's version of try and level up in different flavors and other things like that. And like Starbucks, like try and level up in Starbucks drinks, things like that. So it's like a series. And
so what you're doing there, you're aiming to obviously continue bringing people back.
And engage current people as well. Yeah,
right.
And keeping people back to like the account and like the fun side of it. And so, yeah.
I guess it also, even like when you're creating the content and like, say for example, you go and plan a series, like I feel like it would be much easier from a creative perspective, because you're like, I'm going to create this maybe like 4-part series, 5-part series, whatever it might be. Let's go on, okay, step 1, step 2, and you can plan it out.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the times, I know personally when I used to post a lot more content, I would always get like blocked because I'd be like, oh, what am I going to post today?
Yeah.
What am I going to post tomorrow? And so without some kind of like framework or series or things that you can post, buckets type thing to post into, it makes it so much like easier if you're like, okay, this stage 1, film the opening of your business as an example.
It makes it so much easier when you've got a process for it, because you know that you only need to do one founder video once a week. And then you've got like other things to fill in that content with. Like if you're constantly trying to like put out new ideas constantly, that's like you're always going to get fatigue from that. I mean, like content block is like such a serious thing like that we get sometimes when like we've only got one head in it, which is why for us like we've structured the agency around like there's me as director, then we've got a general manager, we've got like creatives, and then we've got the account manager. So it's like constantly so many brains behind each piece of content.
Do you guys get like blocked still?
No, not now. Because like if one person's blocked, then the other person comes in to help.
It's like, just a constant like hive.
Yeah. And there's also like new trends and new ideas. Like social is like so crazy.
Is it do you find it overwhelming like for you being in it? Because I feel like
personal,
like overall like because I know myself, and I guess maybe this is like on the outside I'm like, holy shit, there's so much going on in there. Like it's moving at such a tremendous speed, you know what I mean? I'm like, what do I do? Where do I start? How do I jump in? I'm going to start posting this. It's going to be irrelevant and obsolete tomorrow. So like, do you guys still get that internally in terms of like that experience of like, this is so fast?
Internally with clients, no, because we live and breathe it every day, and we find that I understand where that would come from, but it's actually really interesting because we've never had that problem.
Got it.
For my personal, absolutely. I get really confused with my personal, like so much so that I'm like, what even is my personal brand? Like, you know, I'm on this podcast now. Am I posting this after, or is this going to go?
Where is this going?
Or is that going to go with my clean, like fashion-y Instagram feed? Because like I get like anxiety if my feed looks bad. It's so bad, but it really
sounds like my wife. My wife like sees something that comes
is she like a feed girl?
On my feed, and she's like, delete that shit right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean?
Does she have a really pretty like grid?
Yeah. And it's just like it needs to stay the same. Can't like...
Oh my God, no, literally. I remember I wore a red dress to my birthday, and so like it was like a flash photo in red, and I couldn't even look at my own Instagram. I was like, get this away. I need to black and white this, or I need to delete it. Like it's actually bad. And also just the direction sometimes, because people follow me for, you know, business tips and things like that. But then I just love like a little like hot little boyfriend photo every now and again. So I get really confused as well, because I'm like, do I want to go down that corporate route and like be like business blah blah, post like
professional
clips
value,
of me talking and like be like, you've got this, like that vibe, or do I still love the influencer side? So I'm just trying to like balance and mix, and that's where I get confused. With our clients, we're paid to not get confused and to like stick to like the plan. We have a strategy that we fit out an entire 6-month plan with content creation, with movement as well. So it goes creative meeting, where we jump on a meeting with the client and we understand what the sales are coming up, what the things are this month, new flavors, new sizes, new whatever. And then we do the content based off what that's going to look like. So Mother's Day is really busy for us because we have a lot of like women-based brands. I see. Obviously then you've got like, okay, we don't really have that many Easter-based clients. That's like Easter's a bit random. But like Valentine's Day, huge, Valentine's Day, oh my God, like huge. Like we've got flowers delivered to the office constantly for like shoots, and like we've got heaps of things that we need to organize for Valentine's Day. Christmas, like I can't even, like Black Friday would be huge, like for you guys as well, right? So even those kind of things keeps the content alive, because like things are always new, things are always happening, products are always coming through. I always say as well with e-com capital clients, clients, I said that. I was going to say students, but my brain went funny. So as well, like there's obviously different ways that you can like scale your business. You can either like explore new markets, or you can add on your offering. Most clients from Ecom Capital, they really want that hero product.
Yes.
And I love marketing a hero product because you can keep that same thing going, and you can come up with new exciting ways to market that new hero product to new people. I love stuff like that. And like most people, it's actually a really common question that we get is like, how do you keep marketing a hero product and like not new things come up? And we love those brands. Like, yeah, new flavors and new things are exciting, but like we've had businesses that have stayed, that are like celebrating 2-3 years with us and are doing so well by having a hero product.
The same product, and they just
continue like making it better, and not even making the product better, making the marketing
just
more creative,
more relevant.
Yeah, more relevant. Yeah. You're constantly having like, you're exploring new markets. You're tailoring the content to new people. You're like shooting it a different way. You're like talking about it a different way. It's really fun. Like I actually like never get tired of that type of thing.
What are some things that you think people do that might put them in a position where you may consider it like you're going to fail with that kind of like how would someone like start posting content and quote unquote fail? Or what would be some things that's like, just don't fucking do that?
So one of the things I see a lot with Ecom Capital students, well, clients, is they want to kind of jump the gun with just like stock kind of like imagery that they just get from, but they're doing it to push sales, not for education. Stock imagery, and they put like their sales stuff about their business on top of it.
Writing text, logos.
Which by the way is not necessarily wrong, but it needs to be intentional. You need to have like an education part of that, not just like sell a product. Like there needs to be more to that than just that. There's that. Obviously, I think another thing that is I said today in my call is that you wouldn't go to a lawyer, like you wouldn't write up your own like legal documents. You go to a lawyer. You don't like, well, I do this, but I don't go on Google necessarily to like diagnose myself if I'm sick.
Maybe ChatGPT.
Yeah. But with content creation, there are people that will do it, that have been trained in it for like 10 years to get it right. And so this is not a pitch, but it is true. Like there are experts. Yeah. Like I'm not good at product development.
Yeah.
I'm not good at like doing like, I don't know,
landing pages.
Yeah. I'm not good at like a million of other things, but what I am really good at is content creation and social media strategy, and I've made a career out of that. So are you going to try and be as good as that yourself? It's not going to stick all the time. Yeah. So sometimes it's like having a really good direction of where you want the content to be, and then having people obviously like myself and like content creators come in and actually execute the ideas so that it's right, because it's hard. Like I remember even saying something to someone not long ago on a call where I was like, you just needed to clean your camera. Like your camera on your phone is like blurry because it's got fingerprints all over it. But if you're not in content, you don't think about those things.
Very true, actually.
And
very
then
true.
like, you know, when you're at the beach and someone goes and asks you to take a photo, and they instantly go where like the light's coming behind because but the beach is so pretty. My mum and dad are definition that. Well, you
stand
can see
that way.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you can't be doing that, because like that, I don't even need to explain that. But it's just the whole thing of like where the lighting is, and I feel like on client calls sometimes I'm saying like, here's the camera, move it to this way, get the tripod. At the end of the day, there are so many things as a business owner you can be so good at. If content is not your strong point, it can actually be so detrimental to all of the other things, because you can have a great product, but if people aren't seeing that product because the content is like people just swiping past it, then like,
and it's such a key thing as well, because like if you think about like the economy that we live in, this attention-based economy, everybody's posting content and everyone's building audiences, and so like it's like it is where we're living, you know what I mean? Like we live online, we see these things online, and 100%. So it's like, okay, cool, like I'm not that good at it, but it's like, do you need it for your business? Yes. You know what I mean? And I also look at it from the perspective of like, I look at the paid ads version of it, but I've also seen tremendous kind of like growth on an organic side. We've had a client sell out of his product like 2-3 times over, completely organic. He just posted like fun reels of him using his like skateboard product.
Love that.
Sold out 3, 4, 5 times over. I think he's made like $100,000 just from like
crazy,
organic, no cost of all. It's like 60% margin, insane.
Yeah.
And it all comes with the content.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you think about your business, like I see the content as like it's like the conduit that gets your product from your shelves to your customer's hands.
Yeah. And also with the organic views that he got, say 4 videos got 100,000.
I think something like 2 million or 3 million.
Well, exactly.
Insane, yeah.
Do you know how expensive that is to get paid?
Oh God, like hundreds of thousands of dollars
for targeted ads. Like if you have an organic strategy down packed, you are saving so much money. And like it doesn't always necessarily need to be like the most complicated. In fact, even the simplest thing. Do you want to know the most random video? It wasn't businessy, but it was just funny that like went viral for me.
Shoot.
So you know how like X was like a really popular thing?
Yes.
So like, I don't know, was it your wife?
Yeah.
You married? Yeah. So like it was a huge thing about like husband, boyfriend, X. So,
oh yeah, my wife's got so many X about.
Yeah,
me.
so oh my God, it's such a thing. So like girl X, and guys were getting so upset with it in TikTok. I'm like, get a life, like seriously, like let us just have our moment. Anyway, so it was like an ick list.
Right.
So my boyfriend has really big earlobes.
Okay.
They're not like disproportionate.
They hang down?
Like no, so if you see him, you're like, okay, they're fine. Like they're obviously like not a standout feature. But anyway, so he had like these dangly earlobes, and we were in Thailand, and we were on a boat.
These dangly earlobes.
They're not even dangly though. Like
I haven't met this guy, and I'm like, oh
I have to
man.
show you a photo
I'm
of
like,
them.
show me your earlobes.
They're just like really, they're not dangly actually. They're just like really thick.
Okay.
I'll show you after.
Got it. Okay. Sure.
Insert
Put them on
picture.
the screen.
Yeah. Insert picture of Connor's earlobes. So long story short, we're on. Yeah. Literally, I feel bad. We're on a boat.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at the front of the boat in Thailand, and there's like some waves that hit.
And they're flapping around.
And his earlobes like flapping around in the wind.
And this is a nick of yours.
Well, no, it's the nick of everyone. So I upload it. Well, apparently, I upload it. 10 million views.
No.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Of his earlobe.
Of his earlobe, like flapping. I'll have to find you the video. It's really funny. And that's just like the most random thing ever, right? And so like think of that as a business. If that was to happen to you, if there was a problem going on that like, and you can also create virality yourself by creating conversation with the problem that your product is solving. Like you can create like viral moments yourself.
So what do you think it was about Mr. Connor's earlobes flapping around in the breeze that made that video go so viral? Timing?
Yeah, because it was a trend. If I just posted that and didn't apply that to the fact that girls are talking about X and that's a common thing, it wouldn't have done as well now.
Wow.
So everything, there are going to be light bulb moments that are going to come way after your product's launch that would be so incredibly relevant to the times now. I was just trying to think of something that's like kind of controversial that maybe is going viral right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, are there any things at the moment that are kind of like
I feel like the girls
trend,
can answer this
wing
so
trend?
well. Oh my God, if
phone a friend.
If one of my my head of TikTok, for instance, or one of my TikTok girls was here, they would like be screaming, going, this one.
How do you not know this?
Yeah, but that's why I do the boring brands. Because I'm like,
yeah.
well, I can't really think right now. Just give me a minute. We'll have to cut this podcast out, otherwise everyone's going to be like sitting there like cricket sound. I can't really think right now of like a trend that's going on because I'm in Severance TikTok. But say, I don't know, say for instance you like had something that was like kind of relevant to Severance, like you would absolutely upload that.
What's Severance?
What? What?
I actually have no idea what Severance is.
Oh my God, what the heck?
Genuinely.
Cut the cameras, I'm out. Are you serious? Okay, Severance is like a iconic TV show. Do you know what White Lotus is?
Yeah, I know White Lotus.
Fine,
yeah.
we'll just like, we'll do like...
Insert White Lotus.
Oh my God.
Politely continue.
Okay, but say for instance, like Thailand is like now popping off because of White Lotus. Like say for instance, like your product was like made
I have
in
seen
Thailand.
Severance is, it's like it's
a TV
sci-fi
show
kind of like show.
Kind of. So what happens is that when you go to work, you're severed. So
yes.
brain,
I saw the trailer. I never watched it, but I know the one you mean. Yes.
It's the best show.
Got it. Okay.
Ever.
I don't watch any form of like Netflix or anything, so I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay.
Nothing. Yeah.
We have someone from the Stone Ages over here that runs an e-com capital business that doesn't watch. I mean, sometimes you got to you got to switch off. Do your research.
No, I don't. I don't need to do the research by watching Severance, do I? How is that research?
because you want to try and apply the trends in Severance to your product.
My wife's going to be so happy you telling me this right now. She's like, see, now you do need to sit with me and watch Netflix.
Exactly.
See?
But there's just like things that are going around that like people are interested in, that go viral, that you need to like jump onto with your product that might not necessarily be clear at the start, but then later on, like the ick thing, like if like the ick list was like a big thing back then. So like jumping on something, that video, by the way, was a year before that ick trend came out. So I had that video and I only thought to use it when it was applicable.
So it became relevant.
It became relevant.
You shot it beforehand and then it became relevant. Right.
So like, listeners, take what you can from this.
No, but this is a big thing, because it's like what you're saying is essentially like what I'm hearing out of this is like the reason that it's so important for you to be so like in the platform and like aware of what's happening is because like you may have all these things in your photo library or video library that you're like, oh, this is just some random piece of content, and then something shifts and you see some certain change of like the ick, and then you're like, oh my God, I know exactly what to post.
There's a trend right now, which is a thing where it's like where two worlds collide, and you've got a mum and a dad, and then you show your kid or like what you look like, because you go, my sister just did it, so it's my mum and my dad on their wedding day, and it's like an Adele song, it's like two worlds collide, and then the end result, I feel like the girls like in the back probably know. They'll probably know
this.
But then
you must have this conversation with them. They'll probably be all over it.
They're probably like, yes, oh my God, I can't believe Sasha
got it. Severance. Like, oh my God, Sasha's just horrible.
Anyway, so
that's my wife out there.
Oh my God, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Well, I'm embarrassed to marry this guy. Anyway, so there's like, so there's like two worlds collide, and then it's like the end thing, right? So as a business owner, you have you and you have the idea or whatever it is. And then you go, worlds collide, there's your product. Like that's a viral moment because it's on trend. Everyone's doing it at the moment. Like it's a very common
There's something
thing.
else. This is probably a really bad example of this. I don't know what the video is, but there's this thing that my wife was showing me, and it was like, but I feel poor.
Oh my
like
God,
that. That thing.
Wait, that's iconic that you brought that up. Yeah, so that's a big influencer.
Yes.
That she went and did this like big video, and she's going on and like kind of defending herself from another like big online drama with like another influencer, and she's pretty much said like, it makes me feel poor. She's actually a Gold Coast girl, so I feel like it's super relevant to you.
Yeah.
But she's like,
thank you for that.
Yeah, so she'd be like, it makes me feel broke. And so now it's like people are using that sound over and over again on things. So if you're like, if you have like a witty mind, or like your business can somehow be applied to the sound of that, then you're off to the races again. You've got something that's viral. You've got a viral moment. Like you've kind of like, for instance, how I feel after so-and-so's like Black Friday sale. It makes me feel broke because you've just spent all your money on the sale. So good. And those kind of things is why content to us is constantly evolving and constantly like we're always on the front foot, because she, like your wife, she's kind of heard that she can now apply that to the business and that's
make
why,
it relevant
and apply it to the 8 clients. Well, if she was in BC, and like apply that to the 8 clients that they're running. Also we're a team, so most of the time people are coming up with actual other ideas.
True.
Like our Be Seen group chat is called Be Bloody Seen, and it's like really intense, like intense, because people just after hours are sending stuff to
like it's the most extreme.
Oh my God, it's so extreme. Like people would be like, oh my God, that would work so well for that. Oh my God, that would work so well for that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Interesting. Sounds intense. Sounds like you have a like the work environment sounds like.
I feel like you have to come.
I'm like I want to get around this because it's inspiring, because I feel like you guys are you're so in it. You know what I mean? And it's really, really cool, because like even the thing that I'm drawing out from this as well is like that I think any founder can apply is like, so you guys are like influencers or past creators, you're doing it constantly, then you're part of a company that helps other people to do the same thing and creates content for them. You're so absorbed and involved in the environment of like what you're actually producing. You're like this living, breathing example. And I think like if I apply that kind of philosophy to founders, founders don't fucking do that.
No.
They start a company and they go, maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't fucking try. You need to be in it, like fully immersed in it. And like you guys with the socials, like you aren't like kind of trying. You're like, I'm all in on this thing.
Yeah. And
like,
we can be all in for clients that don't want to do that too.
Yeah.
Like 100%, like it's not for everyone, and like that is the most challenging part. So you can be really good. Like we have clients that have done an incredible job in product development. You know, they have these amazing products. Like I couldn't make that.
Yeah.
So like it's all about delegating, and like if you're not wanting to be like the face of and like the founder behind and talk about the journey, then someone else can do it for you, or there are clever ways of doing that too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and it is also like, I think there are like more geeky type product based individuals, and then people that are like marketing and sales.
No, seriously,
like there definitely are, and so I think like that's why I'm like getting a lot of value from like hearing the way that you structure things. Because I'm like, you guys clearly excel in that area. I
just also think that sometimes you need to have like a perspective. Like for me, for instance, like I think there's a place for everyone on social, but people don't necessarily know what that place is, so we help them find it. Like we're launching a dating app, and it's all about not being able to see photos for 72 hours, and it's all based on values, and it's a psychologist, and there is a part of the internet for her. And it has been seen like we've just only kind of launched that strategy very recently, and like it's gonna do really well because like we have found a part of the internet that loves to hear about the stories of the founder, but also what we've been doing is going and leaving little notes, like quite like cute anonymous notes on people in the city, and those videos have been doing really well. And that's not even selling the product, but it's getting that brand awareness away from like just another dating app.
How do you guys like, say for example I come to your company, and let's say for example I have like a product that is like just the most boring product, and I'm like, hey, I need to create some really cool content.
Do you have an example of a really boring product?
Like maybe like maybe like a little like rubbish bin that I put under the desk of my office desk, and it's just like,
okay, well firstly I feel like brands like that, like is that not just like Kmart? Like are they not okay, why don't we do WD-40?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's use that as an example.
WD-40 is like oh my god, sorry, off topic, but I got a Robo-Rock the other day.
What? A
Robo-Rock?
I feel like I'm like living in the freaking Stone Age with you. Okay, hey, like sorry. I'm like, yeah, what?
So a Robo-Rock is like a vacuum that like it's like sucks around.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
and it's like, anyway, so I was going to say we did some campaign stuff for them, like content creation stuff, but that I think that's kind of cool. I don't think that's boring.
Yeah.
But WD-40 is kind of a brand that I would say is kind of boring.
Yeah, ish.
And for them, like content creation is a huge opportunity because it's a time to get plumbers in and get all these different people that use it, and have like a really cool strategy of like how you use like, hi, I'm so-and-so the plumber, and this is how I use my blah 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 WD-40, and then they go and like do this really cool content, and that performs really well. There was a video of Kirilee's dad, who works for me, sorry.
Okay.
You'd be like, who's it, Kirilee? So she's my TikTok girl. She and her dad did the campaign where he's showing her all of the different things that she could use WD-40 for, and that did so well. So apparently someone recognized him in Bunnings and was like, oh, you're like the WD-40 guy, which is like such a boring brand but made so fun.
And it's such an old brand that's like in a demographic that's like, oh yeah, like the older blokes that grab it from the shop and they spray it on the stuff. Yeah. Do
you know what gold bullion is? It's where you can like buy gold and it increases in value.
Yeah, of course.
You kind of have gold like
you just invest in it. I thought there was a different like
no
TikTok
like
version
really
of this or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
is that tech? No.
Is this just like the gold?
No, it's like the
got
gold.
it. Yeah, of course.
So we have a gold bullion client that would be celebrating probably like 2 years with us now.
That's a boring product.
Boring.
I would say that's so like it's like,
and that is our most successful online, like successful client.
Interesting.
Because we go in and we interview people. We actually took a gold bar out on the CBD and got people to like guess how much like.
Oh, it's worth.
Yeah, it's worth. And then the girls did a little test because the account managers have been the same like all through 2 years, so they're all like best friends now. And they just did like a little interview style like quiz about like gold. And then they like do heaps of facts. So he jumps on and does all these like gold bullion facts. And then there's the girls, the young girls that are like 22 and 23 come in as the people that know nothing. So that's like the series that has been created from it.
Right, wow.
And they'll go and interview people and be like, hi, can we like ask you some questions about how you invest your money? And like, it's pretty intense.
Wow.
And people are so interested in that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's like a really boring, those are two pretty dull brands that we've made fun.
Is there, is there some products that you're like, that's not a product to push on TikTok? Or like that, the demographic's not on there?
Okay. So I have a new opinion on that.
Oh, okay.
So there are businesses that shouldn't have their own TikTok account.
Okay.
But there are businesses that should have people talking about them on TikTok.
Okay.
So there are brands that just, if you're posting content of yourself on TikTok or you're doing like sales content on TikTok, it's probably not going to hit.
What's an example of those?
So, okay, there was an example of a girl that was a pot plant store. And she was like, oh, I really want to get on TikTok, but I just like don't really know how to do that. And like, truthfully, my mind kind of went a little bit blank because I'm like, well, you're just a brick and mortar.
Okay.
So you're very location based. So you kind of like, even if videos go viral, it's going to be very hard to scale this pot plant business on TikTok.
True.
However, you're in a pretty popular area. So what I would do is be on TikTok through influencers that are local in your area and have them do days in the life, picking up their new pot plant and taking it home and decorating their house with their new pot plant and having your business on TikTok through them. And give 10 pot plants away every month in return for them posting on their TikTok and talking about it. So you don't necessarily need to be on the platform yourself, but you need to have someone else talking about you.
I see what you mean.
Another example of that could be like B2B businesses. Sometimes B2B, we don't really take on B2B as much because I just don't. It's just the girls aren't is interested in them.
Sure.
But there are examples where like you don't necessarily need to be on the platform and have people churning out content for the business and have like a TikTok manager for yourself, but having other people having influencers talk about you. And so you're on there and you're having people go to your web. Like at the end of the day, you only want to be on TikTok so that they then go to your website and then buy.
Correct.
That doesn't always necessarily mean you as a brand having a TikTok account. It means that you have people speaking about you on there and bringing in traffic from their account. And that's why influencers are so successful. But that's arguably sometimes a better use of time and money than just like putting all of this energy into like 5 videos a week for your brand.
Location based, like retail store. That's I'm blowing up in Europe. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, great. Like, how am I going to service that? There was a girl that did this so incredibly well. She's called, she has a cafe in Bondi.
Okay.
And she's like a 25-year-old business owner. And oh my God, she's done so well with just like all of her, every single time I drive past that cafe, the lines are out the door.
Wow.
And mostly that's because her being founder-led content, but then also having influencers talking about the product. So they go and have this like matcha that's like amazing. And then 6 influencers have gone and posted that for them. And because people trust the influencer or the person that's talking about it on TikTok, they go and try it now because they saw it on TikTok.
Of course.
I get every one of my food recommendations not from the restaurant that's on TikTok, but from the people talking about it.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it I'm so impressed by your commitment to what you do. Like I'm like, you're so into it. You're so sharp. You're so like onto every single thing. No, genuinely you are, and it's like testament to what you do. What's the cost? Like in terms of like, are there challenges that you face as a founder, as a business owner, as someone that's in this space that you're like,
okay,
oh my God, this is like, it's a lot.
I thought you meant like how much does my services cost?
You can talk about that after if you want.
And how much my business costs to run. I was like, oh gosh, this is like, okay. No, so for me, I think obviously like I came from the influencer space, so I have a lot of opinions on certain things. And I think when it comes to hiring and like, I think like there is no issue with hiring and having demand there for people that want to work for us and whatnot.
So you can recruit a lot of people.
We can recruit like no problem. One post up and we've got like hundreds of applications.
Amazing.
But I do, as a personal founder, find that I have a lot of pressure because to grow and show up as a founder all the time, because I am the face of the business and the girls represent me and I don't have a lot of control over once I leave the office. The content they put out is a representation of me. I find that quite tricky because we are in service. So the product is the girls.
Exactly.
And so the pressure I find in making sure that right person, like, yeah, we can have 100 applications, but how right are they for the business? Because once we have that person on, they are now the face of lots of people's businesses.
Yeah.
Like, that is not something I take lightly. And that is, like, I guess, a cost and a pressure. I think as well, in terms of like content creation agencies, you can only scale your business by the amount of people that work for you and the amount of clients we can service.
Correct.
Which is obviously quite limiting at times, with the fact that, you know, we could be 2 clients gained away from greatness, 2 away from failure, which is
So
always
true.
We are very lucky that we have built a business after 4 years that is resilient to that. Like, you could have, you know, 10 e-com clients pull out from, but then you're still servicing like the majority. But that being said, you are also in the people business. So without the people, you don't have a business. And like, that's very important for us as well. It's still a very similar model, which is quite pressuring. Also because the clients rely on the girls to service that, just like your coaches.
Exactly.
It's so important that you only have the best.
Yes.
And that's really important for us and very important for me.
How do you handle that as a founder?
In terms of like...
Just the pressure.
I'm very lucky. I actually have incredible people around me that actually build me out as a founder. So I'm very lucky, and I don't share this very often because he wouldn't want the credit to go into him, but I also, because it's my dad, it sometimes seems like, oh, like dad. But truthfully, this man I'm very much alone because he left Australia on the 4th of January. He came back last week. So, and he was going all through like the Amazon. And
wow.
I don't know. Is
Peru?
Not
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that where the Amazon is?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what the heck?
Yes, I got one up on Lexie.
Yeah, I thought that they were like, I think they were doing like this Amazon and like Brazil.
Yeah, Peru or Brazil. It's all around the same
all
pocket.
that area.
Yeah.
So they were there for like 3 months. So he kind of left me alone for that period. But then he sold his business in 2016 when I finished school. And then he kind of went hard with working on my business in terms of like financial models, building out a lot of the stuff. And then just in terms of mindset, he's probably not the best because he's kind of like, he leads with his brain, like, and he's like a bit of a man.
Right.
Whereas I'm like, I am still a little bit like emotional, and I do find things very personal. It's something I'm working on right now. When you start, I feel like I do take everything quite personally. I'm very, but I think that works for me in terms of like, if I'm a people person and I'm in a people business and I lead with empathy, that has been nothing but successful to me. Yeah. But yeah, he's incredible at like building that out for me. Also my partner, like my actual like boyfriend, I don't know, like
with the earlobes.
Yeah, with the earlobes, bless him, Mr. Earlobes. He is like incredible in supporting as well. And I think and you're probably the same, when you find a partner that can support you in so many ways, like just like the little things, like I've got dinner tonight, don't worry about it, like you can come home and just like work that little bit longer. Or like he doesn't run his own business, but he absolutely could now, since supporting me in that way, like just kind of rationalizing things and like being like, it's not that bad, like you've got this, and like asking me the right questions at the right time, and like that's really helped me a lot. So I don't want to say that it was like entirely me. There's like the people around me that have built that out. I will also say, because I'm in the influencer space, and because I grew my business at a time that a lot of my other friends that are also influencers were starting businesses. My friendship group actually own businesses, like a lot of us. Nice. So I have a lot, like I would say about 50% of my friends own like really successful businesses. It's amazing. So I can soundboard from off them. Good. I woke up to a 6-minute voice note from one of my best friends in the UK who has this incredible company, 3 incredible companies, 4 incredible companies. Yeah, I was like, wait, 4 businesses. And she sent me this huge voice note on, you know, how to kind of emotionally remove yourself from certain things, how to feel about certain things in business, like super private things as well that like only she knows about me and I know about her. And that can be just like, that can be so helpful, like, and to kind of just hear that from people that are like, oh, I've been there, this is what I did. Most of my friends are in that. And I think like having a network is so important, and it's like really what's made everything for me. I think it's interesting because I find that
women tend to do that a lot better than men.
I think so too.
Like I look at the groups that I have around me and I'm like, nice. And then I look at the way my wife communicates to all of her friends and it's just like, we're there for each other. Like it's like so honest about the challenges, so honest about the problems that are happening. I'm feeling this. I need some help with this. And the guys are like, what's up? You crushing it? Yep, we're crushing it.
Yeah, and I get
it's
that.
Like, no, I'm actually really struggling. I need some help, you know?
I mean, I think that goes into a much deeper issue that I don't even know if we have time to talk about today. Agree. Just about like the differences in that. And I think there is like, it's actually an interesting point that you make because I don't know if you've heard of Club of United Business based in Sydney, and there's one in Brisbane as well.
I went and saw, I did a conversation with Blake there for his podcast actually. Yeah.
So I actually think that like that makes up majority men. Like there is like there is quite a few women there and the women there are so amazing. But then there's also like, they are mostly men as well because I think it's a really good space to like talk about things and like they have a dad's group.
Oh, wow.
And I love that.
Wow.
They have a dad's group where they do round table talks about like being dads. And I just think that's so cute. And I love that. And like, that's exactly like, I'm going to get to a point where eventually I'm going to want to start a family. I'm going to want to do all these other things too. And so like, I think for me, some weeks are better than others, but I'm getting to a point now where I have built out a business that can stand on its own 2 feet and are resilient through harder times. Yeah. That now I'm going to Europe for a month.
Amazing.
In 5 weeks' time. Don't really know what to do about my coaching calls, but I think maybe we can talk about that after.
We'll talk about that
like,
after,
should I still take them?
We'll
I don't know.
After,
yeah, let's talk about that. Because I'm like, I actually didn't think about that until now.
Till right in this conversation.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, do I need to let someone know? But yeah, so things like that where like I have kind of started removing like little parts of me from the business that have made my mental capacity to take on more a little bit better. I also said I'm kind of in between like EAs as well right now. So I think delegating in order to be able to do the things that you're really good at better is so helpful. Yeah. But not something everyone gets to do straight away.
No, it takes time. You gotta get to a certain level. We gotta suffer and suck it up.
Do you have like, how does your structure work?
In terms of,
do you have like someone that kind of works directly under you for like your branding and stuff, like you as a person?
So my wife she takes care of a lot of like the Ecom Capital branding stuff. She runs like the socials for that. Good. Yeah. And then we have like the content editing team. And then she also does some work on like my personal brand and kind of like oversees the content on that as well. And then I'm just hiring at the moment like a full-time kind of like videographer, content creator that can just like hang around with me, post on all platforms, like essentially like take all the stuff that I'm kind doing all the time. Do, like exactly. Just like right around me all the time because I think that's the key thing. I'm trying to find. It's like I want you just to be sitting there right now. And then capturing some of this stuff and be like, boom loaded. Yeah, me too. On all platforms, like that kind of individual. So I think that's going to be pretty helpful from the content perspective. And
would you ever get like brands involved in terms of like you as kind of like a key leader? Would you ever kind of turn that platform into like something more like kind of like an influencer? Or is that something you as in like if you're building out that following, is it for Ecom Capital clients or is it more so would you ever, because like half of me pushing my personal social is for clients for Be Seen, but then there's another side of me that I like get my clothes for free, my jewelry for free, like I'm an influencer too. So like is that any, because there's not like a lot of males doing
that. Right. I don't know, maybe we can have this conversation in the future. I haven't considered even the idea of that. I'm kind of just building it to probably just build the audience
and also give yourself credit, right? Because like I think a lot of people, once you've got that following behind you, it's like, oh, that guy knows what he's talking about. It's like a value add.
Credibility. Exactly. Yeah. What are you excited about in terms of the future? Both in terms of like social media and then also Be Seen. Like what things really light you up?
I'm really excited by the fact that influencer marketing has shifted to something a little bit deeper. We're looking at ambassadors. We're looking at people that like a face to a brand. I'm loving the shift in that rather than just like a one-off post. I'm signing 12-month deals with brands because the return on investment, amazing. It's not just one. It's like you will like recognize that person over and over again to a brand. I think that's amazing. I'm loving the shift from that because there's more meaning behind the influencers aren't just posting anything and everything. There's actually like this person loves this brand and like actually can really I resonate with that person and that brand because of the representation that person constantly gives to that company. That's exciting to me. I'm really, really loving like that side of it, and seeing someone constantly talking about one thing rather than like you see them post on a Monday, it's one hair care brand, then next week they're talking about another one.
So
it's just
true.
like, whereas like I love, there's a few other like half Asian like influencers that use like this one skincare brand over and over again, and I buy that now because I like truly believe, and then when I got it, it works.
Right.
So like I love the kind of loyalty to
so much
one
authenticity
brand.
a little bit more
so much more rather than just like these one-off posts.
Right.
And seeing people kind of work with the same brands over and over again, and those same brands investing in the same people, rather than having like everyone talking about the brand, like having it like aligned to the people that really represent them. I really loving that. I'm also loving the out of home that brands are taking now. So like Stanley Cup invited a bunch of influencers to this like build your own Stanley Cup. Do you remember Build-A-Bear?
Yes.
Build-A-Bear,
Yeah,
but
I do know
for
that
Stanley
one.
Cups.
Yep.
And they had this big place. They hired this big place in Paddington, and they invited influencers, but they didn't just invite influencers. People were invited. Like every day, like customers.
Real
were there.
people.
Real people.
Real
Can
humans.
you believe it? Real humans. Actually were there, and they were going and like building out their Stanley Cups.
So
and they
epic.
like felt really involved in the brand.
Yeah.
And like that, like I love bringing like traditional things back. Like that's exciting to me. So I love like seeing pop-ups. I love giving back to like seeing people give back to customers and like making people feel really involved in the business. Like when I go to a pop-up for an e-com brand that's actually doing like a pop-up where you can see the products and see the owner, and like there's like coffee carts there, like I'm freaking out. My heart's like racing even thinking about it. It's so lame, but I love that stuff. That excites me a lot.
Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah, and so I'm loving when a client gets to a point where we can do that for them. I love that side as well. Our launch package does that. We have a campaign involved in every launch package because we take businesses from 0 to 100.
Amazing.
That's literally what B Scene does.
Yeah.
So we take clients, like you know how you have your different levels. We kind of have a similar thing where we like do the content creation, do the influencer marketing for businesses that are like in sample phases.
Right.
And so we're getting so much more creative with the way that we're launching it. Like there's a cafe down at Bondi called Harry's, and heaps of brands will go and like pay for the space, and they'll hand out free coffees on the brand.
Yes, I've seen.
In return for like trying the product and like gifting the product to like the people that are walking past, and like there's so much more fun. Like it's so much more engaging. It's so much more interesting rather than just doing like another unboxing, which serves its purpose.
So true.
But yeah, I love that at the moment. So that's exciting.
What about conversely? Are there some things that you're concerned about? You're worried about? You're like, oh, this is going to be a challenge in terms of social media, how the landscape's changing. Maybe it's AI. Are there some things that you're like, this is maybe a threat?
I mean, AI at the moment, like I think if you use it for content, like you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy. It's not scaring me though, because I'm glad. Like I think it's like there's definitely AI. It's like a very sensitive topic, I feel, at the moment. I mean, like sometimes I'll say something and people are like, no, and I'm like, okay. In my opinion, I don't think it's a threat. I'm not worried about like where AI content wise will take off in terms of like replacing my job. Not super worried about it. Utilizing it, absolutely yes. I think there's so many ways you can utilize AI. We do in content spaces. So many cool like bubble things that like are popping up out of like,
of course,
you know, those AI like CGI things. Like I think that's cool.
That's epic.
It sucks now though because everyone's doing it.
Yeah. It takes the novelty away from what was this like once unique really thing. Yeah,
like I remember who was Elijah was like one of the first to do it, and it did like so well, and it like it had like 10 million views, and now like every time I see one kind of starting like on top of like the Sydney Harbour Bridge, I'm like, okay,
next.
And so that sucks. That I feel like what I guess the concern is that ideas that seem cool go away much quicker now. So you are having to be on the ball, and if your brain doesn't naturally work like that, you are probably having to invest in people that do, that brains do work like that, like agencies and stuff like that, which isn't a problem for my business, but I can see as like a founder that feeling overwhelming. But yeah, I guess that in a kind of like having to keep up and it being like quite a quick train to jump on, like
it's
not
demanding.
Everyone, everyone can make it on time.
I
definitely see that as like I can see that getting worse.
the speed of change, the rate of change will increase a lot more.
Yeah.
And the demand of like domain experts that can actually help you to get to where you want to go is going to increase as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, absolutely.
I mean, for me, that makes demand quite high.
Yeah, so I'm like, not concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good.
Very good. Where can people spend more time with you? Because like I'm listening to you and I'm like, I feel like, you know, I could sit here and talk to you about socials and I'm like, hey, can you look at my socials? Or like, you know, I want to learn a lot more from you. And I know that the audience also do as well. So outside of maybe the clients that spend time with you on the weekly coaching calls, are there, you know, places that people can hang out with you online?
I mean, obviously I kind of said that I don't really post on my own account, which will be changing soon.
Got it.
Watch this space. But obviously my personal Instagram, which is Lexie Murray with 2 E's, because I couldn't get the one. Even like I got my Instagram, that username, when I was like probably 12. So I don't really know how. So there's another Lexie Murray that took that from me.
Wow.
So
took that from me.
Yeah. So Lexie with 2 E's Murray.
You're out there.
You're out there and I'm coming for you. And then BC and socials are pretty regular. So we're pretty regular posters. And then obviously if you are kind of like not sure if like BC's right for you and you kind of want to inquire, then obviously we have like free consult. Of course. Which is, what's my website? Oh my God, bcsocials.com.
What's my website?
I literally, no, because we have .com and then we also have .com.au, but the one that's current is .com.au.
Got it.
And that's, but we do post quite a lot on the BC account in terms of like what we do. We try and make it as clear as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just really want to kind of like just recognize you for the work you do, because I know you've been working with a lot of our clients for some time now. And it's really great to actually like, you know, spend some time with you, have a conversation. I feel like you've been working within the company and helping some of our clients for some time, and I've heard some amazing things. And speaking to you and hearing the passion, and I would probably say the obsession that you have with what you do, it gives me so much confidence that like any clients that come and work with you are going to have an amazing experience.
I hope so.
Also the fact that like what you're doing is going to continue getting better and better and better, because you're always at the forefront. So just really want to like, you know, give you a lot of respect and appreciation for the work you do. So thank you.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Aww.
Amazing. I appreciate you, Lexie. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This has been such a fun conversation.
My pleasure.
And I'm going to have to listen to all your other podcasts from today as well.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Don't you worry.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.